Hi, John Russell from CBS Radio, and I'm here with the owner of one of the most historic wineries in the United States, Mr. Joseph Mills. Joe, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I want to congratulate you on being recognized by the New Jersey Historical Society for being not only one of the longest, most continuous wineries, not just in New Jersey, but in the entire nation.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. I want to talk about the history of Renault Winery, and it actually begins with one man and one tiny little insect in Europe. We're going back about 150 years. What exactly happened that brought Louis Nicolas Renault from France to the United States?
In 1850, they first noticed that they were starting to have blights show up each year, and it was spreading. And it turned around that they lost their grapes the following year. And Louis Nicolas was sent by the owners of the winery he worked with in France to the United States to look for a different place to grow grapes.
How did Louis happen on settling in South Jersey?
Well, the climate is similar to it, to where he was in Reims, France. And just in general, it reminded him a lot. And it was close to the seashore here, the ocean. And it seemed to work well.
All right, now fast forward to 1919. You've got a new owner and a new problem, and that would be prohibition. How did Renault, or any winery in America for that matter, survive the 14 years of prohibition in America?
Most of them closed up. Most of them went out of business, as happened with anything in alcoholic beverages. But Renault had a very special, or rather Renault company, as a company, had a very special licensing where it could produce a wine tonic, which we sold in drugstores in those days. And it was supposed to be good for your health. On the bottle was a disclaimer that if you put it in any refrigeration brought any refrigeration to it, this special additive that they put in it would fall to the bottom like sediment, and it would become wine, and warned you against its use as a wine.
One man's pharmacy, another man's wine cellar, I guess.
That's right, exactly.
All right, Joseph, so 4.5, give or take, decades go by, and then you become the new owner of the Renault Winery.
I just thought that this would be a nice investment if it ever happened. And this was for sale. It was not a very productive thing once they took away the wine tonic. See?
Now, when Louis Nicolas Renault first bought the property back in 1860, whatever it was, how big was the property back then, and how big was it when you purchased it in 1977?
Well, he only had a small area here of about 40 acres at the very, very beginning. And during the course of years, had acquired some land around it. And then by the time I got here, we had about 1,100 acres. Now we're up to 1,500 acres. And we only actually have developed 226 acres of the 1,500. But, and of that, in grapes, we've only done the maximum of 45 acres.
But 1,500 total acres, a 50-room old world style hotel, world-class restaurant, and a championship golf course.
No, we're proud of it.
Tell me about the different varieties of the grapes you grow and the wines you make.
Okay, we grow 13 different varieties, and we make 31 wines with that, and sparkling wine, because Louis came from Reims, an area where Champagne was most important. That's the Champagne district of France. And that was his big thing. As a matter of fact, he was the father of grape growing for Champagne.
Which would explain why the French government never forgave him from packing his bags and heading over to the United States.
No, not at all, not at all.
How about the idea that vintage always matters?
Vintage does matter. Vintage does matter. A lot of people don't realize that there are many things involved in a vintage. It could be the soil, it could be the climate, or it could be the winemaker.
Last rumor I wanted you to either dispel or affirm is that all your employees dress up like Lucy Ricardo and take their shoes off and stomp all over the grapes in order to make your wine.
Twice a year.
Twice a year.
Twice a year we do have grape stomping, yes. And we do it in the beginning of our picking season and once at the end of our picking season. And we round them out at festivals and enjoy it, have fun. Yes, and we do take their shoes off. They do enjoy it.
I would love to partake one year, Joe. Right, now tell me about the restaurant and when you decided to open it, when you decided to go with the old world style and how it's working out.
Well, we opened one restaurant in 1984 in the winery itself, across the street, and we're very happy with it. We only open it on certain days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it does nicely. This here hotel now, with the restaurant that's in here, opened when the restaurant opened in the year 2000.
And enough room for weddings, banquets?
Yes. Matter of fact, we have 3 banquet halls, different sizes that accommodate people from, and 6 function rooms. So we're quite, we expanded and used some parts of the building that were utilized for other things years ago. In the making of grapes, as a matter of fact, across the street, and growing grapes and making wine. We've turned some areas that were grape growing, winemaking areas into areas that we now serve food and have functions like that.
Well, the area is spectacular. Tell me about the tour. Tell me what a person who only knows enough about wine that they love to enjoy a glass with dinner, what they may learn taking the Renault Winery historic tour.
It's nice to take people through the old winery, show them where we make wine, how we make it, and also then the tasting of it. And that's important. And we run our tours daily throughout the year. This winery actually is 7th in the production of grapes and making wine in the United States. And it's just only recent that now that almost every state in the United States has wineries and has grape growing areas.
But few have the conditions that are as close to France as this area of South Jersey.
Yeah, we're close to the water. We have, a good moderate climate. We have longer season than even North Jersey,
Well, other wine-producing states in America must be, I would think, pretty jealous. What do they call that? Pinot envy?
That's good one. I like that, Pinot envy.
Joe, I wanted to ask you about your executive chef. Where'd you find him, and how long have they been with you?
Well, to start with, presently the guy that's with us now, because it's a family operation. They're all mainly my children, grandchildren, but there was one guy, a nephew of mine. We tried to send most of them to culinary school, and he asked to be sent to culinary school, and I did. And when he graduated, he thanked me for doing it, and wound up going to the islands. Made a name for himself, and in this industry, it's kind of hard, And I had in mind that if he would head our food service, I'd name it a hotel after him. So we named the hotel Joseph's. Because I'm Joseph, because my son is Joseph, and his son is Joseph. We have many Josephs in the family anyway. So he came back as interested and did a phenomenal job. He's taken over executive chef here in this hotel, in this restaurant, across the street in the gourmet restaurant. He handles all the banqueting and weddings and buffets and things like that. And we're very proud of him. Very, very proud of him. He's quite a guy. And very knowledgeable.
Right now, meet the executive chef at the Renault Winery Resort and Golf, Joseph DeGennaro. Joe, the first thing I want to ask you is, how did owner Joe Milza coax you out of the Caribbean? You were working down in the Virgin Islands?
Certainly wasn't the weather, I can tell you that.
What was the general ambiance you were going for when you designed the restaurant?
We took traditional Italian ingredients, put a little more of a modern spin on it, use a lot of fresh local ingredients, a lot of seasonal ingredients.
All right, I understand you're going to show us a little sampling of some of the entrees that you provide here at the restaurant. So if you're looking for a nice, quiet atmosphere and a world-class meal for dinner, maybe a little light meal after a round of golf, weekend getaway, or a wedding, Joe's got you covered. So the story that began 150 years ago with founding member Louis Nicholas Renault continues today with yourself and on with your children's children and nephew and everybody else. From CBS Radio, I'm John Russell on the grounds of a true treasure here in South Jersey and a piece of American history, not just here in South Jersey, but across America, the historic and magnificent Renault Winery Resort and Golf.